My name is Will Kemner. I am 20 years old. I live in Mill Creek, Utah. I attend SLIC right now. I am a certified personal trainer working towards my kinesiology degree. And eventually my end goal with that is to get my doctorate in physical therapy.
My name is Jade Arter, and I am an organizer with Utah Against Police Brutality, as well as a member of Freedom Road Socialist Organization and the National Alliance Against Racist and Political Repression. Our main demand as a group and an organization is for community control of the police, which would mean that we have democratically elected individuals who represent their community, act as an independent review board for police, and then have the power to determine no, that is not, and continue to either fire police officers who act in a way that's harmful to the community, and also have a say about the budget of police, where money is spent. Is it spent on training, or is it spent on bigger guns and military equipment?
The Salt Lake City Council has a budget of $331 million. And of that budget, about a quarter of it, $82 million, goes to the police. So just for reference, that is the highest percentage of any of the budget going to one single thing. For reference, other parts, housing, it gets $6.5 million. Transit gets $7 million. Street maintenance gets $5 million. Human resources and economic development get less than $3 million. Community and neighborhoods get $25 million, and the fire department gets $42 million. And we see that with the police force, budget cuts are very feasible because there are things that they have that any police force does not need. Any trained professional who is supposed to be able to de-escalate situations does not need the amount of technology and firearms that our police force has. They are not meant to serve the people. They are their own force who only have the best interest of themselves in mind. And that's why here at SLRM, we do have the best interest of the people in mind, and we recognize that the police force is completely broken. It is not something that can just be reformed. We can't really polish it up. It needs to be disbanded, and it needs to be replaced with something better. The word reform is a little funky because when we say reform, we kind of think we want to make some changes, fix it up a little bit, make it better, make it more shiny and new. But that's really hard to do with a system that has been trained to not serve our Black and brown communities. The police force stemmed from slave patrol. This is common knowledge. This is in any history book. You cannot reform a system that was born out of hatred. So reform isn't my favorite word, but I also know that words like abolish are really scary to some people. So we actually just made a statement at SLRM about our mission. And we do believe that we need to take the militarized police department and defund it and then further disband it. I and SLRM and a lot of other activists believe that there should not be one general force that you call for anything. As it is right now, whether you're experiencing domestic abuse, sexual assault, animal abuse, your house is on fire, no matter what you do, you call 911. We believe that there should be different groups for different things. If these horrifying things are getting filmed and released and nothing's getting done about it, we wonder what is not being filmed. What is our police force doing behind the scenes? And in a lot of other states, police are charged with different crimes and they're convicted. And in Utah, they are not. In other states, 100% of policemen charged with hard substance abuse are convicted. In Utah, that number is only 18%. And that's just one statistic of many, but even that alone tells you that our police force is not held accountable for their actions. That's our main goal right now, is to continue with the protests and raising public awareness. Once things die down a little bit, we do continue to do things like webinars and seminars, and we would like to do monthly community service projects as well. We are working with other organizations to propose different budgets and bills to the city council. We are taking this to a government level. This isn't just, rally the people. We do plan on making actual changes. We are in contact with different officials, different media outlets, and essentially we are being loud, and we refuse to be silent because we have been for I don't know how long. So the time is up for that. We will be heard, and we will be making changes. So it's a little tough. A lot of them are hesitant to reach out to us this early because, as we know, the government is a little bit of a mess, especially with everything going on right now. They're very confused on what to do. They're conflicted because they have their officials telling them what to do, and which is different from what the people want us to do, It's kind of difficult to get things done this early, only because we're not receiving a lot of cooperation back. And I understand that some of the demands that we are making are very extreme. However, the injustices that our Black community are more extreme. And quite frankly, we have to make these changes. Otherwise, we will not be getting the justice that we deserve.
We are part of the organization of Utah Against Police Brutality is an affiliate of the National Alliance Against Racist and Political Repression. And they wrote a piece of legislation. It's based out of Chicago, that it's CPAC, or Chicago Police Accountability Council. And that's kind of like the board that I just described. And we took that info and wrote our own adapted version for Salt Lake City because we are very different cities. And, have been educating people about what community control means. We met with city councilors and with people who have the power to implement or support these changes and bring forward our concerns from the community about why they're necessary. Unfortunately, in 2019, the state's legislature passed a bill, HB 415, which was proposed by the Fraternal Order of Police and Representative Greg Hughes to make it illegal to form these councils on a municipal level. So we are adapting to that. We understand that, the way forward is we're going to have obstacles and we're going to have challenges, and that those in power, want to consolidate their power, and they're not going to just give it to us because of the goodness of their hearts, or they all of a sudden, care. So we understand that we have to get broad support from the people, that we have to make those demands in a clear way, and we have to tackle that as we move forward. Lots of other states have similar laws and are in the same process of fighting for community control. So although we have more obstacles as we're fighting for that goal, we are not giving up, we're not deterred. We just have to reevaluate our strategies and figure out the best path forward.
So I have a personal call to action for all of my commoners, all of my everyday people like myself. It starts in your personal life, in your personal circle, I know we have all met someone who has comfortably said the N-word during a song, or we've had family members say something that maybe wasn't outright racist, but was kind of tone deaf. It starts with things like that. If you want to be an activist, you need to be able to take those uncomfortable situations and just grab them head first and just tackle it, you know? You need to be able to tell your racist uncle that it's not okay to say what he's saying. You need to be able to tell your white friends that they're not allowed to say that word. Even if they don't mean it in a racist way, it's still not for them. Now that's the bottom tier. Above that, sign your petitions, write your emails and your letters, call your government officials, do all those little tiny things that, you know, individually they might not seem like they make a huge difference, but when there are as many of us that are doing it as there are, they make a huge difference. One of our main missions at Slurm is to amplify the voices of our marginalized communities. And we can all take that into our personal lives as well. We need to not take their spotlight, but guide it to them, you know? It's too often that our Black and brown communities are silenced, and, you know, I can open up the speaking floor to all my Black and brown community, but at the end of the day, we need to implement that into our daily lives. What are things that you can do personally to help the Black people in your life be more successful?
Research groups and issues you're passionate about. Police brutality and police crimes is like one issue that, you know, we are facing right now. There are other things that are connected, related, and tied together. Yeah, there's lots of work to do. And so digging into what you're passionate about, finding a group to organize with, I think is big. I think a lot of people want to start out as an individual and do their project and try to form their own group, which I definitely can understand. But bringing your skills and your ideas to an established organization to help benefit it and move forward is going to be more effective than what you could maybe achieve as just one person. If you see that there's a lack of that there is not an existing group that is fighting police brutality in their community, then yeah, maybe try to reach out to established ones in other cities and get some feedback and start your own. But it is like a commitment. It is a lot. Organizing, you don't get paid. Sometimes it's like picking up a second job without a lot of benefits outside of like the fact that you are fighting for justice and trying to make fighting for a better world and for ourselves, for our families, for future generations. I would say also just that if you can't get out and protest, or you disagree with, the way that protesters are doing things, I'd say try to get out there and understand where people are, work alongside them. I know there's a lot of frustration, but right now we want to use this opportunity to push for a better world. And that doesn't mean that you have to go out into the street and hold a sign. There are needs for all types of skills and ability levels and commitment levels. Some people, can't contribute a ton of their time and a ton of their effort, but they want to help out. So just reaching out and finding out what you can do. Maybe you can help write a letter, or join in calling campaigns and make a phone call when you see it. There's a lot of ways to get involved, and it doesn't have to be a huge commitment. It doesn't have to be where you're putting the rest of your life on hold, but we need all the voices and all the people and all the contributions possible to make the most progress and movement forward possible too. So yeah, to not be scared. It can be intimidating, but it's okay. That's okay. And we all have to start somewhere. We all did start somewhere. and that just engaging and getting involved and will help you build like that understanding and comfort level too.